Please, you can start.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adekola Afolabi Tomiwa, and I'm the group leader of this coursework. And I'll be having with me 5 of my other colleagues who are going to participate in the presentation of this coursework. So we were given 4 industries to pick one from, which are the automobile industry, the clothing/garment industry, the financial service industry, and the logistic industry. And we have gone with the clothing/garment industry. So I'll be taking the introduction part of this coursework, while I'll have my other colleagues who are going to be talking about the main features of the clothing/garment industry, the challenges that multinational companies face in the clothing and garment industry, and the strategies some of the companies have tried to deploy to invade the challenges of the multinational company. So I'll take the introduction right away. Basically, the clothing and garment industry have witnessed strong and steady growth over the years. Apparently, the top 10 largest clothing garments have continued to dominate the market because they have the highest share over the world. Example of these companies are Nike, Adidas, Puma, etc. We also need to make mention of the BRICS, which means the BRICS, which are Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They have a very strong hold of this market. One of the reasons why the clothing and garment industry is one of the strongest is because the BRICS are involved in the clothing and garment industry. Despite the fact that there are some level of decreasing sales due to the advent of e-commerce, the clothing industry is still the largest and the most important in the fashion sector. The textile industry is one of the most in-demand business today because it generates a very high amount of industry revenue and it contributes to the economic growth in many countries around the world, especially in Britain, Russia, China, India, and South Africa. In subsequent presentation, my colleagues will be talking about other aspects and how the major feature in-depth of clothing and garment industry. Some of the top players and the countries that have dominated the clothing industry. So I'll end the presentation here and pass on to Welt. Thank you.
My name is Welt, and I'll be talking about the key features of the clothing sector. So the clothing markets are segmented. So the clothing manufacturers tend to be small, while the distributor and the retailers tend to be larger. So the growing trends of vertical integration, the diffuse industry, and the low capital intensity and high labor intensity as well. So according to a new market analysis published by Research and Markets, the worldwide apparel sector was valued at over $758 billion. That was in 2018. So which was up 7.5% from the one of 2014. So as at 2022, the market is even expected to grow faster at a very faster pace. To over 11.8%, which is $1.1 trillion in excess. So moving forward, the world largest textile market as of 2020, where China who has 24%, the United States has 19%, Germany has 5%, and Japan has 4%. So now Maita will be speaking more about the key features of the clothing industry.
Hello, I'm Mahita. I'm continuing my part from Wealth. In terms of textile product and cloth trades, China is currently the world's largest request. Since 2019, China has surpassed the United States as the world's top textile requester. China currently generates almost a quarter of overall earnings in the worldwide textile activity. According to Euromonitor, China's periodic textile deals totaled 333,312 million in 2019, up from 267,246 million in 2014. An instance, West deals in US are expected to reach $360 million in 2019, barely 3 times as much as they were in 2014. Top 10 global vesture companies. Christian Dior, France, 55.2, Nike, USA, 38.7, Auditex, Spain, 30.7, Adidas, Germany, 25.9, H&M, 24.3, Fast Retailing, Japan, 20, Gap, USA, 16.6, Kering, France, 16.1, Nordstrom, USA, 15.9, UF, USA, 13.6. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Kojo. I'll take it from the challenges the textiles industry faces. I'll just highlight on 5 points about the challenges. That is the volatile and diverse markets, cost of procuring raw materials. The third point is labor, and the fourth point, transportation, and the fifth point, respecting all cultures and races. When you talk about volatile and diverse markets, I won't go much. I will just talk about fashion change very quickly. When you talk about costs of procuring raw materials, the the increasing cost of procuring raw materials is one of the biggest challenges the fashion industry faces. The cost the cost to not only grow but also transform and treat the raw materials needed for making new fabrics and design lines has been on the rise since a long time now. Labor, when you talk about labor, many brands have been highlighted for the use of slave labor as they give the world their vast fashion lines to parade and flaunt, while the masses have been made aware of the conditions the workers are forced in. The fashion industry faces burnt of negative emotions and constant disruptions in the factories. As workers and consumers are like demand better working conditions and pay. When we talk about transportation, every fashion house needs to be able to keep their logistics in check from time and again. The increase in the cost of oil and petrol means the cost to the transportation to the cost to transport the raw materials to factories and the finished products to the consumer to market has been increasing every year. Uh, the last point is respecting all cultures and races. While while respecting all cultures and races, while the increased growth of social media may have been a boom for the fashion industry, with people having access to fashion brands from across the globe at their fingertips, it has also proven to be a curse. The speed by which a campaign spreads across the globe and the need to keep the entire globe in mind while coming up with a new line of garment and product has never been more important as it is now. The sentiment of everyone and all religions across the globe has has to be kept in while working on a new label line and product. The speed of social media and the spread of possibly negative campaign can be a challenge that can break fashion brands or give them a stronger hold on the global level high risk environment. I'll pass the next presentation to my brother Mubola.
Hello, my name is Bolaniwa, and I'll be talking about some strategies that these multinational companies have used to overcome some of the challenges they face day in, day out in the textile industry. Just like my colleague Kwajo have mentioned, some of the challenges they face, which include the first one I'll be mentioning is volatile and diverse marketing. For example, if a multinational company discovered that because of the volatility of the market they produce in multiple numbers, these markets are no longer in fashion, they are no longer trending, then they have to create a promo, something like buy one and get one free, so that they are not going to lose all the capital they use in getting the raw materials and stuff. And the second one I'll be talking about is cost of production. Most of these multinational companies now produce their own raw materials. They have their own farmlands, and farmers help them to get the raw materials to maintain quality and standards. Instead of buying from other farmers, they go directly into their own farmlands to do it themselves because they'll be needing this in large quantities. And the third challenge is labor. The industry, as we all know, is a very labor-intensive one because most multinational companies tend to recruit a multiple number of people. They train them to their own taste and standard before they start operating, which means they won't have the issues of people they employ not doing the right thing. They let them pass through a certain level of training before they are allowed to work. And the next challenge is transportation, and the strategy they use is when they try to get the raw materials, most of these multinational companies try as much as possible to get their raw material plants or means of getting their raw materials in the same country where they are being produced. Example is Adidas, producing in Canada. They produce their raw materials in Canada instead of them going to China to import raw materials. For example, if Brazil is the one producing, they will have to have their own raw material plants in Brazil. So these are one of the strategies they use to cope the challenges of transportation. And the next challenge I'll be talking about is culture and race, because a lot of countries in human nature are very multifaceted. So they always want to employ people that are in the same race because so that people will be able to accept the product, so that they will not have a situation where they are producing stuff and a lot of people will not be able to buy it because it doesn't suit their taste. So about the culture and races, they try to employ people who are from the same region where they are being produced. Yes, the next challenge, high risk environment, and the strategy I can say, they try to get insurance for their workers because as we all know, this industry has very high risk when they are producing it. They put the workers through medical and health training for unforeseen occurrences while they are working in the industry. So I'll be stopping here for someone else who is going to be doing the conclusion, and that's going to be Pravin. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Pravin, and I'm going to give a conclusion on this presentation. So, in a nutshell, what I want to say is global textile industry is, for you to understand, is global textile industry is becoming increasingly competitive and challenging. A number of key trends that are witnessed within the global fashion business is that more and more world's largest apparel companies have started taking new strategies to strengthen their product portfolio and to increase strategic partnership and acquisitions. These trends mainly include collaborating with other technologies companies, adopting robotic and automation in their product process, impact product cost, and increase quality, use natural materials to provide clothes. And also, they are using 3D knitting machines to cut back their manufacturing cost. And apart from that, many of the world top 10 largest apparel companies are using data, engaging with social media influencers, and also some of the collaborating online. And to keep update, marketing products uses some company brand ambassadors and also signing with sportsmen and celebrities to enhance their publicity. So, therefore, this would tap into the wants of every consumer by facilitating more digital experience online and in the store. So that's all about. Thank you.
All right, guys. So that will be the end, I guess. Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye. Take care. Bye. Thank you.
So are we good?
We are good.
All right.
So we'll view the recording tomorrow, right?
No,
Yeah.
you can Why don't you send it now? Why don't you send it now? Send the recording now.
Guys, first stop recording and speak.
The individual, what's up?